Good evening and welcome, and thank you for joining me here on Inspired to Achieve Global TV, and welcome to the Executive Suite. So I'm your host, Roxanne St. Clair, with you again for another Monday evening chat. So how are you today? How has your week started? Has it started off with a bang? Has it started off as a damp squid? Or are you still getting yourself together to actually see that the week started? So, we like to come together on a Monday evening at the beginning of the week, really just to set our tone for the week and to prepare ourselves to achieve those goals that we want and to make sure we're supported. And as you know, if you're a regular on here, you know that I always encourage you to like, comment, and share, because this is a place where we have a conversation. It's for busy executives, leaders, business owners to come together and really release some of the pressures from the external and get, reconnect with your vision and your passion, and then get recharged and sharing your skills and your knowledge and learning from each other. So that's what we do here in the Executive Suite. And this evening, it's really a low-key evening, really touching base. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas. And I know for some people it's a hectic time. The pace gets faster where you're trying to get everything done, everything in before, people start winding down and closing for Christmas. So it's almost though it's that mad paddling and frenzy before the chill out time. So, do share your comments, what it's like for you at the moment, and whether you look forward to this time of year, whether it's a bit stressful for you, and let's see how we can help each other on this. So I'm just going to see who's on today. So who's with me at the moment? Wow. So hi to Pastor Roy, hi to Richard, hi Sirpa, hi Marcia. Thank you all for joining. So come on, let's have a conversation today. As I said, we're 2 weeks and a day away from Christmas. So let's start preparing ourselves for that festive time when you may be with friends and family. You may be spending it by yourself this year. Let's, get ourselves together. Let's share what's going on for us and see how we can help one another. And today really it has been a bit of a rush for me today, because I'm myself, at this time of year, looking to solidify things for my clients, especially if some of them are in an industry that actually closed down for the whole of the Christmas period. So, but from the end of next week right up to the first full week in January, nothing happens in their businesses, either with their customers or their suppliers. So it's preparing for this period and ensuring that everything's set up and in place so that when they are back in January, things run smoothly and it's not, you're not coming back to chaos. So these are some of the things that happen. So hi, Richard. I said hi to Richard. Hi, Robert. Thank you for joining. See, I'm tongue-tied. Yeah, I'm in that frenzy pace of Christmas. And you're waiting for the snow, Surfer. Well, it's funny because, we're contemplating whether or not we will get snow this year. And let's see if we do, because, in Finland, I dare say that it really does feel like Christmas when you've got snow. And even here, I love it when the snow first starts to fall and when it's really fresh and everywhere seems really quiet and all the car lights are really hazy. But then after a couple of days, when it turns to slush and you can't walk on the pavements and cars are skidding everywhere, the novelty wears off a bit. So I like to be inside then and just watch. So so we're just really going to have a bit of a chat this evening and doing some prep work. Exactly, Pastor Roy. Preparation is very important indeed. And it's important for many reasons. And I know, a few years back, it used to be a running occurrence with me that I would have been so busy throughout the year that when we stopped for Christmas, my body would almost go into collapse mode. So I'd be ill over Christmas. And this happened to me time and time and time again. And my children were a lot younger. So I used to run around, rush about with them, doing activities with them, as well as working in my business. And so I really used to just sort of exhaust myself and be going at such a fast pace. that when we stopped for Christmas, my body just thought, right, got you now. You're not getting out of this bed. And I would be laid up. And, Christmas Day, sometimes I'd be laid up. But that's, once I started to see this pattern and really looked at how I operated and started focusing on, well, what, nurturing do I need? What do I need to ensure that I'm running at my best? I found that in recent years, probably the last 4 to 5 years, that isn't the case anymore. So I'm able to actually enjoy Christmas Day with the family and not be laid up and feeling sorry for myself. So this was a good learning for me in order to actually now enjoy Christmas and not be burnt out by the end of the year. So I don't know if either of you watching today has had that same experience whereby, you do so much, and then when you stop to have a break, your immune system and your lymphatic system just says, right, okay, it's our time now. We're going to stop too. So let's see. Okay, so I think that's Marcia saying that a busy time of year for you with the jewelry business. So you're busy making as the orders come in. Wow, what a fabulous position to be in, though, to actually have the orders coming in so that you can make something so that people have that extra something special that's uniquely for them at this time of the year. And I think that's such a beautiful gift to have, that you can actually be making that special gift that's, that someone gives to their loved one to mark a special time of year. And hi, Adam, thank you for joining. And Tim's joined as well. Thank you for joining, Tim. So, this is one of the things that we look at now, because I think, Christmas has become a very commercial time, and people seem to have forgotten a lot of what this season is about. And on Saturday, we attended a carol service. And it was nice because they had a lot of the traditional carols, but they were done in a slightly different way. But there was elements in there that really encouraged us to reflect and to appreciate what this time of year really stands for. And those of you who are in the 59 Days of Successes private group would have seen me share this comment. And there was a young girl, 14-year-old girl, who plays the violin. And we didn't know if she was going to be there on Saturday, because just 3 weeks prior, she had a terrible accident. She was hit by a car, which sent her 20 feet in the air. And the only thing the physical thing that saved her was her metal violin case. Had she not had that case attached to her person, she may not have been here with us now. And this young lady has such a special talent, and she's such a sweet and humble young lady. So watching her play on Saturday, it was difficult not to actually come to tears, because I was sitting there watching her, and she played with her brother. And in my mind, it was a case of thinking, well, this almost didn't happen. It was almost a case that she wouldn't have been here with us, for us to sit here and be entertained and touched by her talent. And it just shows that things can happen to us in an instant. So what are we doing with the gifts and talents that we've been given? Marcy, as you said, you're making jewelry now for the Christmas season, and you're busy making. So that's a special gift and talent that you have, that you're putting to use. So those others of us on the call right now, what are you doing on a daily basis with the gifts and talents that you've been given? Because we've been given our gifts and our talents for a special reason. And if we're not using them, there's no guarantee that we're going to be here to share those gifts and talents. And as I said, with me, sometimes I just go where the inspiration takes me. And I think everybody that's on this call at the moment does have a special gift and a special talent. And many of you are in the 59 Days of Successes group. And that was set up in November, because we had been on a call like this and realized that we had 59 days until the end of the year. So it was an ideal opportunity for us to finish the year strong. And the idea was that each day we post a win for the day. It didn't matter how big or how small that win was, but it was to encourage us to celebrate our wins, celebrate something good for our day. Because if every day we can recognize something that happens in our life that's good and worth acknowledging and celebrating, of course, we would end 2018 on such a high level that when 2019 appears, we're already in a position of strength, and we're in a space where we know that we can do even better in 2019. So it wasn't by accident that this challenge was put out there, and it wasn't by accident that the group was created. There was a special purpose, because I think sometimes we wait till the end of the year. We then make New Year's resolutions, which sometimes are in our subconscious beyond our reach. And we then belittle ourselves because we're not sticking to our resolutions. We're not achieving what we set out to achieve for the new year. But if we're constantly recognizing and doing things that we can feel good about ourselves every day anyway, when it comes to the new year, all we're doing is just building on what we're already doing. So we're not giving ourselves these huge, unattainable challenges. We're actually just continuing in our own personal growth and our own personal development, which means that we are maintaining control of how well we do and how we mark our own successes. So if you're in the group and you've shied away from sharing a success, remember I said, even if you got out of bed that day, that's a success. So I'm encouraging you now for the next few weeks that we have left to keep sharing your daily wins. And I must hold my hand up because I don't share mine every single day, but I try and get a few in at least for the week, because I want to know, come the 31st of December, when I look back at all of those wins that I've marked, I actually have something to feel good about. So when that clock goes on the stroke of midnight, I'm really celebrating that new year coming in, because I know I've done as much as I could do for this year. So I'm going to start reading some of your comments now, and let's see what you're saying. So let's see now. Where are we? Okay, so everyone's greeting everyone. This is lovely because it shows what a community that we have on Inspire to Achieve Global TV, where we're connecting with each other, we know each other, and we're actually greeting. So this is wonderful. And Robert, Robert's saying, I reach out to love on friends and connect with new ones, which is beautiful. And again, this is that time of year about connection, that time of year where, especially if people are on their own, where it's really good to just connect, let them know that they're in your thoughts. If you've got time to visit them or for them to visit you, again, it's a time for us to embrace humanity. And whatever comments. Okay, and Pastor Roy is saying this is true. We all have a gift. Exactly. And as you know, your gift is, you bring spirituality to people. You touch people's life with the word, and you'll get, again, you share from your wisdom. So, right. So Adam says, I do have a talent, but others would see it as me doing something wrong. Okay, so again, Adam, I'm not sure what your talent is, but the important thing is, how do you own that talent? How do you embrace that talent and make it work for you? So sometimes we look on the outside to get permission from other people to be who we are, to excel at what we're good at. Whereas if you know that you're coming from the right place, you know you're using the gift that's been given to you and it's been given to you for a purpose, then as long as you're not harming anybody, is it really, what's more important, what you feel about what you're putting out there from that space of doing the best that you can do with what you have, or what other people think? So I just leave you to think on that one, Adam. And where are we? Right, so Marcia, you're saying thank you so much. So sorry you've missed being in the win. Marcia, it's never too late. I'm more than happy to add you to the group because we still have a significant number of days left. I think we've got about 20 something days left or thereabouts. So it's not too late. You know what? Acknowledging 20 or 21 wins in comparison to not acknowledging any, what would you go for? So I'll add you to the group after the broadcast. I'm more than happy, and I look forward to seeing you marking your daily wins. Oh, I'm getting excited. So let's see. What other comments do we have? Okay, so Pastor Roy saying that's me as well, Roxanne, and not share it. And you're saying you're not sharing as you should. Right. So again, as I said to Martin, it's never too late. You still have 20 odd days. So start sharing every 20, every day for the next 21 days. How fabulous would it be for you to actually have that? To say that, the last 21 days of the year, you were kicking it and you really did celebrate your wins. So I was saying, you know what? Start now, because the only thing that you will beat yourself up about is the fact that you had 21 days and you didn't. Whereas if you've got the 21 days and you do, hey, you're still a winner. Right. So, Adam, you're saying that you fight to give children a voice and social services try to take children from loving families for the wrong reasons and you try to stop that. Okay. All right. So I don't know the intricacies, and I suppose it's such a delicate area when dealing with children, because I'd like to think that most of us want the best for the children. And it's really, sometimes it's really tough to actually know what is really the best for that child. And especially if they're really young and they cannot voice exactly what they want for a multitude of reasons. And because a lot of the time, children do feel responsible for the adults around them. And they would sometimes cover up or not say something that was hurting them because they want to protect those around them. So I think it's such a delicate area, but I do resonate with you in terms of wanting the best for children and the best for a child. Now, people that were on the last 2 Fridays know that I spent the last 2 Fridays doing school visits where I was sitting down, sharing some information with groups of children at 2 different schools. And I just love their passion. I love the way their minds work, the curiosity, the way that just link ideas together. And I think sometimes children aren't always given the opportunity to be their true selves, because us as adults, we often tell them to be quiet. We tell them not to ask questions. We tell them not now. And we do actually sometimes cause more damage than we nurture. And it's just that, doing the best we can with what we have. But I take my hat off to you for really caring enough to want to do the best for those children. And as I said before, if your heart's in the right place, and hopefully you have the full set of information that you can be the champion for those children and keep them out of harm's way, because I think that us as adults, that is our responsibility. We don't own the children, but we have a responsibility to ensure their safety and to safeguard them as much as we can. So I think that's a really beautiful spirit to want to protect children. What was this? Right. So, okay. So Marcia, you're loving it, kicking it. Yep, definitely. And Pastor Roy, you know what? We've got this mutual fan club going here, but thank you for saying that. I really appreciate you too. And Robert, you're saying once emotions start flying, it becomes a challenge to have constructive discussion. And it is so true. And that is one of the things that, I do often say to people when the emotions start to go, is to stop and take a breath. Because in that moment that you stop to take that breath, is the time when you allow your body to rebalance, and sometimes you can become a bit more objective. And when you're right in the thick of things, sometimes you do not always see the full spectrum of the situation. And I'll hold my hand up, because there's times when, I haven't got the patience to take that breath. And, it'll be, oh, bad enough. But then I do often stop and think and try and see things from the other person's perspective. And I may not always like what's reflected back at me, because there are times when I have to hold my hand up and face myself in the mirror and know that, well, you know what, Roxanne, maybe, you need to learn a lesson here, and you're not always right, even though I like to think I am. But, emotions are, as Pastor Roy said here, emotions are a killer. And when we learn to govern our emotions, when we learn to self-manage, that's what gives us our power. That's what gives us our strength. And, people think that fighting and battling because you've got to win and you've got to get one over on the other person is where your strength is. But your strength actually is in your humility and knowing when to keep quiet, knowing when to take that breath and stop and listen to that other person, or stop and observe the situation and try to be objective. And it's easier said than done, but with practice, it does work and it does help. And I'm talking to you now, and I do think that I need to actually share one of the cards with you. And let me see if I can find it. If it's in the set, chances are I've actually given it to somebody, because sometimes I actually give the cards out randomly. Right, the one I'm looking for is not here, but I do have it on the app. So bear with me and I will share it with you, because I think it's a good one to share. And especially now with this time of year as well, I think it is important that we practice this. So right. So the card that I'm actually sharing with you is listening. And it says, to really listen means that you pay attention to what is being said rather than hearing what you want to hear. It is by listening that you understand the wishes of those around you. The next time you're being told something, really listen to the words and feelings that are being conveyed. So how often do we actually listen rather than hearing something, and in our mind we're busy just thinking of the next thing we're going to say, as opposed to listening to what's being said to us? And that is the art of really sort of self-managing, because it's so tempting sometimes to sort of jump in and say your bit without listening to what's been said to you. And it's in that listening phase that you learn so much. And I know there's actually somebody on the call today, I'm not going to say who they are, had been trying to get hold of me for a while. And when they did, they were actually going to propose something to me that was for my benefit. And they didn't know how to say it, how to express it, because they were more concerned about my reaction than the special gift that they wanted to share with me. So when they did say what they had to say, for me, it was such a blessing, because they had actually answered a wish that I had. And it was just that thing where being willing to listen meant that I was given a gift that I was not expecting. So I was encourage you to really listen, practice that skill of listening. So maybe over this Christmas period, when you're connecting with people and you may be sort of reconnecting with people, practice that art of listening. So when they're talking to you, just listen. Don't think about what you want to respond. Don't think about what you need to say next. Just be in that space, connected to them in that way, and listen, because the value and beauty of that interaction will be phenomenal. And if I don't give you any other gift, that would be a gift to you, because, yeah, you'd have to practice it and try it. I'm not going to say anymore. Just practice and try it, because it will be something special. So I see we have someone else joining us. So welcome. Wow, you're on a roll today, Pastor. I think you're giving Robert a run for his money today. You're saying, okay, that's it. Self-management gives power. And it really does. And having read your book and knowing a bit of your story, I know how much self-management you've had to go through to be where you are now. So yes, I know that you get it and it resonates with you. And I will say to people on here, if you haven't got Pastor Roy's book and you haven't read it yet, it's a good read, it's an interesting read, and it's insightful. You know, I was blessed to actually purchase a copy of the book, and it came and I read it. And I read it quite quickly because what was funny was I was going to be interviewed by Pastor Roy on his show. So for me, I couldn't go on his show to talk about his book if I hadn't read it. So I had an incentive to get it and read it. And as I said, you know, I would just take my hat off to him for being so open and sharing what he shared with us, because sometimes when we share something that's really personal to us, it makes us really vulnerable. But in that vulnerability, what that also does is it opens the door for somebody else that may be going through an element of what we're experiencing, for them to actually have their release, for them to have their breakthrough. And, you know, I say this being a very private person, but I've had to learn to open up a bit and share some of the things that have gone on for me. I'm fine with sharing my own story, but where it impacts other people and there's an element of their story entwined with mine, I tend not to share their element. Although people have said to me, oh, but you know, as a mother, you can share that, or as a this, you can. But no, because I think that's the integrity of that person's story. So I will not share their nitty gritty, but you sometimes get an essence of some of the things that we've had to go through. And as a family, we've gone through quite a bit, but you wouldn't know it unless we shared it with you. So yes, I've endorsed you because, as I said, you know, you've got a powerful story, and you know what? Another reason why I endorse you is because you were up to the challenge when we started the 59 days of successes. You said, yes, I'm in. And I think you were one of the first to say, yes, I'm in. And you set yourself a target. And I think that target was 50 books, to sell 50 copies of your book by the end of the year. And, you know, I know you were hesitant to say that, but you did. And you put yourself on the line to that. And you made yourself accountable to all of us that were on the call and those of us that are in the group. And for that, I acknowledge you and I appreciate you. And that's why I also felt I needed to support you, because I put you in that spot. So this is, you know, and again, this is what the Executive Suite is about. We support each other. It's not just about me talking at you. It's not just about me telling you everything that I know. It's about us coming together and celebrating each other, us supporting each other, us sharing ideas, because you would have done things that I haven't done. I've done things that you haven't done. So if we're sharing those together and we're building each other, how powerful will we be? And this is, you know, this is what gives me joy. This is what I love, because I love possibility. Somebody comes to me with an idea of something they want to do, I'm down the road with that idea for them. And I will, you know, give hints and tips and strategies, because that's what I do. I do systems, I do strategies, I do processes. So that is, to me, it's, you know, it's music to my ears, you wanting to sell 50 copies of the book. Because if you can touch 50 lives, and if there's just one element in the book that touches each of those 50 people, what a blessing is that? So yes, I'll endorse you. So let's see who else is speaking. You've heard him, buy the book. Actually, you know, listen, I told you I go wherever it goes. But wouldn't it be interesting? I know you've got your own program, you've got your light bulb moment, but wouldn't it be interesting if people on here did buy the book? And then one of our shows, we actually discussed the book and people could share what they found in there. And we can do it from a space of you as a leader, you as a business owner, you as an executive. What element of the book has resonated with you, and what have you learned that will help you in your walk of life, in what you're doing? So I'm more than willing to have that kind of call once people have bought the book, read it, and if they want to come on here and discuss and chat, why not? You know, this is what we're here for. This is our space. So we do, and we make sure we make it our own. So I'm up for that. Oh, Sheldon, you've joined us. Thanks for joining, Sheldon. So I'm quite keen to see that. So yeah, so as I was saying before, it's that this is this time of year where people are at that faster pace. They're rushing to get everything in place before the Christmas holidays. They're worrying about gifts, and and some people unfortunately put themselves into situations that they then spend the rest of the next year trying to get out of. Where we feel that we have to buy the biggest and the most expensive gifts because people will be let down, people will be sad. And I think I just implore people to remember, what is the essence of Christmas? What is Christmas really about? What does Christmas mean to you? Is it about things or is it about people? Because I think sometimes you can have some of the best moments when you're together and you're sitting down, you're eating together, you're sharing stories, you're sharing experiences. You may have people that you thought would have been here this Christmas and they're not here. So what would you have given if you'd known last Christmas to have spent that time with them? So these are some of the things that I say, just think on. What do you want for yourself for Christmas? What would be your ideal Christmas? And what's your ideal run up to Christmas? Because again, you don't have to get caught up in the frenzy. You can choose to pace yourself how you want to go and therefore enjoy it in your own way. Now I just need to keep an eye on the clock. Oh, see, good job I did, because I've been chatting so much. We're nearly up to time. So, okay. So I think Marsha's saying that she's interested because she's saying that sounds like a good live. So yes, whoever's interested and you want to do it. I know, Robert, you've bought the book. I'm not sure if you've read it yet. So let's have some fun. That's the other thing. I like to have fun. I work hard, but I like to have fun. So why shouldn't we? So okay, Marcia, so that sounds as though you're in. Okay, so just want to check some more comments and see. Don't want to miss anybody's comments today. Right. Okay, so all right, so what I'd really just like to share for today, as I said, is that it is that time. We've got just over 2 weeks until Christmas. You choose how you want to go. You choose if you're going to be running yourself ragged, or if you're just going to take things in your stride. You can still enjoy the festive season, but enjoy it on your terms. And what's more important to you? Is it about all of the material stuff? Is it the togetherness? Is it a combination of the two? Because who doesn't like to open presents? But it's that thoughtfulness, the meaning behind what you give. And I just, I think this year it just really feels to me that it's a special, I don't know, this Christmas just feels really special. And it feels like a time for reconnection, time to be together, a time to establish and reestablish relationships, so that again, 2019, we can feel supported. Because if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a busy executive, sometimes it can feel quite lonely. Sometimes if you're the only one and you're at the top, it gets lonely. So maybe now's the time to reconnect and establish those relationships, so that in 2019, you are really feeling embraced, you're feeling supported, and you know who's in your corner, who's working with you. You're after tips, Sheldon. Well, for you, you can go and do some shopping. But no, for me, I think, as I probably mentioned it before you came on, it is about that connection, having that downtime with your loved ones around you, being able to give meaningful gifts, receive meaningful gifts, and just have that warmth, and have your food, have your entertainment, and be at peace. And that for me is it. It's having peace at Christmas. I know a lot of people, they have to have all the family around. They dread it, and then the day is quite acrimonious, and then they're relieved when everyone's gone. And I'm thinking, well, why put yourself through that? Why not have it in such a way that you've something to look forward to rather than something to dread? So I'm going to leave it on that note. And okay, Pastor Roy's book is, I can't even pronounce, is it Mahalak Journey, Freedom Moments? So people will look in the comments and you'll see the title of the book. And yeah, we'll have one of our lives where we're discussing the book and we're sharing what tidbits worked for us. So I'm going to leave you on that note because it's Monday evening, the week's just started. So I'll just say, think on what you'd like your week to be. You know, how would you like to feel this week? What things must you get done? And what things are you doing that aren't really serving you? So as you go through each day this week and you share your wins, enjoy yourself and make the day your own. And I will have to get somebody else on here to cover for me on Friday because I do have an event on Friday which I cannot get out of. So I will not be here at 8 on Friday, but I will be back with you next week, Monday at 7. So have an awesome week. I will be going into the comments and replying to your comments. So please do keep commenting, like and share, and just stay awesome and we will connect. Take care and thank you for joining. Bye for now.